2617. Clerk. Go. (2618). Very distinguished Senator Ezekiel Dimka.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Hezekiah Ayuba Dimka. I represent the good people of Plateau Central. I stand to move that votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 14 December 2022 be approved. I so moved.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator Nicholas Tofomo.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. I am Senator Nicholas Tofomo. I move to second the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 14th December 2022. I so second.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 14th December 2022 is approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 14th December 2022 is hereby approved. Distinguished colleagues, the Hello Senate. Letter from Mr. President. Dear distinguished Senate President, transmission of the Finance Bill 2022 to the National Assembly for consideration and passage into law in support of the 2023 budget. Pursuant to Section 58 and 59 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I formally request for consideration and passage into law by the Senate the Finance Bill 2022. The Finance Bill 2022 seeks to support the implementation of the 2023 federal budget of fiscal consolidation and transition by proposing key reforms to specific taxation, customs, excise, fiscal and other relevant laws, specifically This bill's provisions are A, enhance tax equity by bringing more economic sectors into the tax net and ensuring a fairer distribution of revenue receipts to all tiers of government. B, respond to climate change challenges through incentives to support the utilization of gas as a transition fuel, as well as disincentives for gas flaring and venting. C, support job creation through sustained economic growth in partnership with the key international developmental and other agencies. D, implement fundamental corporate tax incentives reforms. And E, enhance revenue generation and tax administration through various fiscal and other measures. It is my hope that the bill will be considered by the National Assembly for passage into law so as to provide the fiscal support necessary for the implementation of the 2023 federal budget. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari. Distinguished colleagues, because we are closing for Christmas and New Year recess within this legislative week, this bill will now be referred to our Committee on Finance based on our Standing Order 1B, so that the Committee on Finance is able to bring back the report tomorrow for us to consider either tomorrow or Thursday. The budget itself, the budget report will be presented either tomorrow or latest by Thursday for the consideration of the Senate. So this bill, the Finance Bill 2022, is referred to our Committee on Finance to report back tomorrow. Birthday announcement. The following distinguished senators celebrated their birthdays last week. Very distinguished Senator Emmanuel Buacha, 15th December 2022. Distinguished Senator Chukuma Frank Ebezim, 16th December 2022. We wish both very good health and more years of service to our fatherland. Petitions. Any petitions? Leader of the Senate. Point of order, distinguished Senator Uche Lilian Equinife Iyom.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my point of order is on order 41 and 51. Mr. President, this morning I came to the office to seek for your permission to enable me bring this very sensitive matter before my very distinguished colleagues. And you graciously gave me the permission to come up with this motion this morning. I want to seek the permission of my colleagues to support this motion, which will not take us more than 2 minutes to consider. Mr. President, I so submit. Order 4151. And the issue under consideration, Mr. President, is for urgent need to, the urgent need for IPs, that's Accountant General of the Federation, to capture the recruited staff of UNIZIC for the past 2 years. They sought for permission to recruit. The permission was gotten. but they did the recruitment for the past 2 years. All those.
Okay, it's enough. I think we don't have to go to the motion now. Let me seek the permission or endorsement of our colleagues then. Distinguished colleagues, we have listened to the synopsis by our distinguished colleague, Senator Iom, and because she has come under our standing orders 41 and 51, she needs my endorsement and at least 1/5 of our colleagues here. So those in favor that we give her the opportunity to present her motion, now say aye. Those against, any the ayes have it. You can present the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, my very dear distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, the Senate notes that Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, is one of the federal universities which are overseen and accredited by the National Universities Commission and named after the foremost Nigerian nationalist and the former president of this country, the late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Mr. President, Senate notes that the staff of the university are members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, National Association of Academic Technologists, Non-Academic Staff Union of Allied and Education Institutions. Mr. President, the Senate is informed that in 2019, the University Governing Council, after getting approval for recruitment, graciously embarked on recruitment exercise for teaching and non-teaching staff positions in the university, and recruited staff were directed to register and enroll into the integrated payroll and personal information system platform for staff monthly emoluments, but they were not captured and have not been captured since 2 years ago. Mr. President, the Senate is concerned that since the recruitment exercise of 2020, the recruited staff have not been properly captured and have not been paid since 2 years they've been working in the university to enable them receive their salaries, and they have not also been able to take care of themselves, their families, because of the hardship the non-payment of their salaries has caused in their lives. Mr. President, we have just one single resolution here. The Senate resolves to direct the Accountant General of the Federation as a matter of urgency to ensure that the said recruited staff of UNISIC are immediately captured by IPs for immediate payment of their salaries, and also to consider other recruited staff for universities across Nigeria that are in this category. Mr. President, this motion is straightforward, this motion is simple, this motion is merely for the Senate to support.
But you read something that I don't have in mind. So it means we don't have the same document.
Document, sir. This motion has just one resolution. The resolution is to direct, to direct the Accountant General of the Federation to, as a matter of urgency, to ensure that the said recruited staff of UNISIC are captured by IPs for immediate payment of their salaries, and also to consider other recruited staff of universities across the country. Mr. President, I so move.
Well, and also to consider other recruited staff of universities across the country. There must be staff that have similar problems. But if you say other recruited staff of universities, my understanding in simple English is anybody recruited, whether you have the problem or not. Yeah, with similar problem. The Chief Whip of the Federation, sorry, Chief Whip of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Oji Uzokalo. I represent Abia North Senatorial District. Mr. President, in supporting this motion, I want to thank the mover of this motion, Senator Uche Ekunife, because we have similar problems, not only in UNISIC, we have it in University of Calabar, in Ahmadu Bello University, and also Federal University of Umbudike. People working in this university and people I have seen that complain to me is genuine. For the past 2-3 years, they have not collected their salary. I want to thank our colleague and ask all my colleagues that this motion is very straightforward. It's not something we should go into debate about. It's to save our brothers and sisters in the tertiary institution like the university to join us and enjoy their Christmas. So, Mr. President, I so support. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll go to the prayer, please. We'll go to the prayer. To direct the Accountant General of the Federation to, as a matter of urgency, to ensure that the said recruited staff of UNIZIC are captured by IPs for immediate payment of their salaries, and also to consider other recruited staff of universities across the country with similar problem. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay, say aye. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of the House bill standing in my name on the Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and the Technology, ECRA Medium, Akwa Ibom State, Establishment Bill 2022, HB 2085. Mr. President, may I wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, ECAMIDIM, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2022, HB 2085, first reading.
Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, ECAMIDIM, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2022, HB 2085, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
President, distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of the House bill standing in my name on the Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, Establishment Bill 2022, HB 1024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2022, HB 1024, first reading.
Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2022, HB 1024, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of the House bill standing in my name on the Federal Medical Center Act, Amendment Bill 2022, HB 1665. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2022, HB 1665, first reading.
Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2022, HB 1665, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
President, distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Umar Sadiq Suleiman on the National Research Institute for Chemical Technology, Establishment Bill 2022, SB 1084. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Research Institute for Chemical Technology Establishment Bill 2022, SB 1084, first reading.
National Research Institute for Chemical Technology Establishment Bill 2022, SB 1084, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the presentation of a bill in the name of Senator Musa Sani on the Nigerian content in programs, contract science, engineering, technology, and innovation, Establishment Bill 2022, SB 1085. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate with the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian content in programs, contracts, science, engineering, technology, and innovation, Establishment Bill 2022, SB 1085, first reading.
Nigerian content in programs, contracts, science, engineering, technology, and innovation, Establishment Bill 2022, SB 1085, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is a motion standing on my name on the recommittal of the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency Bill 2022. Mr. President, with your permission, I wish to move the motion.
You may proceed, please.
Recommittal of the FCT Health Insurance Agency Bill 2022 to the Committee of the Whole. The Senate recalls that the FCT Health Insurance Bill, Agency Bill 2022 was passed by the National Assembly and was transmitted to the President for assent. Observes that some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by both chambers of the National Assembly emerged after a critical analysis of the bill by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief. Aware of the technical committee of the Senate and House of Representatives and Directorate of Legal Services met and worked on the bill. Relying on Order 1 subsection B and the Order 52 subsection 6 of the Senate Standing Order 2022 as amended, accordingly resolves to resign its decision on the bill as passed and recommit same to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration and passage. I so move.
Honorable Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion as moved by the leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that this bill be now, that the Senate is urging to Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Do we all have copies of the report? Okay. Those in favor at clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4 on page 3, tenure of office, and clause 5, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 6, powers of the agency on page 5. Those in favor at clause 6, clause 7, clause 8, clause 9, clause 10. Stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 11, employees of the agency on page 10. Those in favor at clause 11, clause 12, pensions, clause 13, clause 14, and clause 15. Stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 16, applicability of the scheme on page 12. Those who are at clause 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 21, refusal of license on page 14. Those who are at clause 21, clause 22, clause 23, clause 24, and clause 25 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 26 on page 16. Those in favor at clause 26, clause 27, Clause 28, there's a problem. No 29. Who has this? No 29, so why is 29? Whose report is this? Committee on FCT. The Vice Chairman is here. Clause 29 is missing. Because 28 then jumped to 30. We need to be sure of what we are going to do here. Because if we miss it, 29 may be a very important clause. I would suggest, distinguished colleagues, this legislation, and we should be as careful and cautious as possible. There is no need to hazard a guess here and say 29 may not be there, maybe it's problem numbering. I think we would step down the consideration, let the committee go back to look at it because it's fundamental. Leader, we stand down the consideration of this report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that we stand down this item to another legislative day. And I also move that the Senate revert to plenary for the chair to report.
Order.
So when we come back, remind us that we stop at 28. So distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we discontinue, we stand down the consideration, further consideration of this report till another legislative day, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, plenary.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion that we revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the FCT Health Insurance Agency Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Clause 1 to 28 as recommended. Further consideration of report deferred to another legislative day. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Yes. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the second reading.
Order.
The second order of the day is the executive bill, as the second reading of an executive bill standing in my name on the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Bill 2022 SB 1072. Distinguished senators will recall that the request from Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief was read on Wednesday, 14th December 2022. Mr. President, with your permission, I move that the bill be read the second time.
You may proceed, leader. Your lead debate.
Okay. Lead debate on a bill for an act to repeal the Code of Conduct Bureau and the Tribunal Act Cap C15 LFM 2004 and to enact the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal 2022 SB 1072. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this important bill, which seeks to ensure the effective performance of the functions of Code of Conduct Bureau and assist the Bureau and the Tribunal in the effective and speedy dispensation of cases bordering on breaches of Code of Conduct for public officers in Nigeria. The bill was read the first time in this hollow chamber on Wednesday, 14th December 2022. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, and a higher standard of morality in the code of government, business, and to ensure that the actions and behavior of public officers conform to the highest standards of public morality and accountability. Promote transparency and accountability in public service. Ensure prudence and judicious application of state resources for national development. Discourage corruption and abuse of power and ensure effective and speedy dispensation of cases both